All right, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining me, coming back, checking out my Freightliner dump truck project, my build. Uh, we're gonna have a very informative little quick video here. No big production, no music, nothing like that. We're just gonna get straight to the nitty gritty. I haven't been filming lately, but I haven't had time to work on the Freightliner dump truck. But I have many occasions come in here and just do little quick kamikaze runs where I just do a little tiny bit, take off, come back maybe half a day later, little bits and pieces here and there, nothing worth setting up the camera to videotape for, but I will show you what I came up with. We'll just shoot right through these. Um, we have figured out the headlight setup. We relocated the headlights lower like they are here, and there are some interesting things I did discover, especially here. This opening on the cab body is a little bit way too wide on the AMT cab, so it affects our clearance or our measurements. I couldn't figure out why my headlights were not looking correct, even though they were in the correct position. It's because this piece on the AMT kit is cut out way too wide. It's actually a lot narrower. And if you remove this flipping metal piece here on the real prototype, it's even the opening and back of the cab is even more narrower than what it seems. And that's where my eye was getting thrown off, comparing it to the AMT cab, or comparing the AMT cab with my setup to the real thing, and they were not communicating, if that makes any sense. Another thing, let's check this out together. Stop it right here. Me and Tom Klein were discussing the chain setup in back of the dump truck, the doors, the dump doors, on most or on many dump trucks running on today's highways. And I could only spot one chain bouncing around in a lot of the videotapes. I was freeze framing and blowing up and stuff. But I did, like a dummy, I don't know, I didn't see it. There is a shot here, and we're coming up on it, where it shows the second chain. It's busted. It's only a piece of it's only hanging, but it is hanging exactly the way Tom Klein described it. He hit it right on the he hit the nail right on the head, and I'll show it to you guys right about here. I think it's coming up. You see, this is 28. Right there. That's a chain. This is our chain here that we installed the other day. This is another chain. It doesn't connect up here anymore, but it's still connected to this hook here, and it kind of dangles in and out of the camera view depending on how the camera is shooting the real one as it runs by. But many times it looks like it's not there, and a lot of times, or in a couple spots here real quick, you can see it. Especially right there. Before this mud flap came back, you could see the bottom of the chain came back also. So these are just little quick examples how studying your photographs, your prototype, it's going to help you with your build if you're trying to do a real prototype build of a one particular item that you spotted either in film, on video, online, or in real life. So there it is again. Kind of moves with that mud flap. And our other chain is up here. So this, when I freeze framed this and I watched it on a bigger monitor, better monitor, actually in my office, it was real clear. It just jumped out at me. And like I said, Tom was right. But in freeze framing this particular shot, I came across something else that I was totally not expecting.
You stole the shit out of it.
Okay, and I hope we can pick it up here. This is important to me. I started the process of painting my tires and rims, or my rims on my Freightliner here. And I assumed it was going to be all aluminum all around, faded and weathered and dirtied, and, aluminum peeling off or stuff like that. And that was not the case as I looked at that better monitor at work. Check this out. This is an aluminum rim, actual aluminum. This is a light gray painted rim, totally different size than the other ones. This is an actual white. It's painted white. same color as the bed. This is dusted, so it has like that yellowish, slight yellowish orange tint or dirty, dusty tint to it. So it tones the white down, but it is in fact white when you compare it to this one, and match it with the bed. This is gray. So we're only gonna, on the other side, there's two sets of 2-hole rims on each axle. 2 holes right here, except they're painted light gray like this one. And on one of them, it's actually painted, or maybe it's a repaint because the dust has been rubbing off, or the metal's been rubbing off, or the paint, or something, where you can see shiny silver, like metallic silver, on the outside portions of the rim. It's on the other side, and I don't want to take up too much time with this video shot, but trust me, it's there. So I was very, very, very much mistaken. It's not aluminum rims all the way around, just badly weathered. It actually is only 2 aluminum rims up front, the steer tires. Your two rear axles have light gray on one, light gray on the other side, a silvery type gray on the other side, and an all white on this side. Tires are nice and dusted along with the rims. A lot of rust and grime, and each particular one has its own character. So what I'm seeing here is when I'm going to get to the process of actually painting and weathering the rims, each one is going to be its own project in itself if I want to get the real look, what I'm trying to achieve here. So these are going to be long videos. This is going to be a long video series, build series. So for those of you guys who like that kind of stuff, come aboard. For those of you guys who just want to come in and out and check it out on occasion or a couple particular episodes, that's fine too. But this is how I spend my my adult lifetime modeling. Real nice, just kits and models and prototypes, and but it is an involved process. It's going to take a big chunk of time out of your life. Uh, as you get into the process, which is where I'm at now, I guess we can turn the lights on and get to what I wanted to show you guys. Eventually, you're going to reach a point where you're so consumed and pleased at what you're accomplishing that the model starts to take on a life of its own. It becomes alive. It takes on a personality. It's part of you. Me and my friend Ed, rest in peace, Ed. We used to talk about that all the time. He used to do painting for the Whistle Stop up in Pasadena way back in the day in the 80s, when the Whistle Stop used to started bringing in their brass HO passenger cars from Korea, which they still do, and I think it's the brand for Whistle Stop is the Coachyard. The Coachyard. Ed used to paint those cars when they first started bringing them in because they would come from Korea unpainted. And the Whistle Stop hired him to paint them all, and he says he painted about 100 of them, not more or less, but it says it burned them out. And it's true. When I used to do commercial painting for old scale locomotives, it burned you out. They literally, and we agreed on this next phrase, which I'm just gonna say. I mean, we're talking about it. Is when we're done with one of these and it leaves the shop, either it's sold, or it's going to someone else, or it's going up on the shelf. It literally, I feel, and Ed said the same thing. It literally takes a little piece of your soul, your heart with it. Think of all the work and research and brain power and commitment, and you reach down deep inside to accomplish something you were envisioning in your brain, just like BNR and the beautiful models he comes out with. I guarantee you when he's done, it's a happiness, but it's also an exhaust. You're exhausted inside because it took a little chunk of your life. Anyways, enough about that. Let's get back to the good stuff. As you can see, we finally located our dump bed where it should be. We connected one pin through there for the hinge for right now. Haven't connected the other side yet. Kind of leaving everything loose for right now. We figure out the connection for our cab. Works wonderful. That came out great. I don't think I talked about this, but you know, we're not gonna use the AMT plastic hydraulic cylinder or ram or whatever you want to call it that lifts to dump it up. We're going to use an actual metal one, and you're looking at it right there. We'll figure out that setup here in this next coming week, maybe over the weekend. A lot of stuff going on. We are at that part now on this build where it has taken on its own personality, and it's now a part of my life. So I'm real serious about the build. I'm moving slowly because putting a lot of thought to each one of my moves. But I do make errors along the way. One thing I did want to cover with you guys, not really well, here we go. Here's the, get some light in this. Here's the tires, here's the rims anyways, on what I was talking about right now. So there's your dualies, there's your two-hole, and this is your front steer. So I use the AuCAD method, and apparently I don't have to do it to all of them, just the two front will be painted in aluminum. So you wash these things first with soapy detergent, get rid of all the whatever compounds are on there from the process of when they were manufactured. Definitely want to clean them with soapy water, detergent, or 409 or something. Let them dry. Hit them with your Tamiya primer. If you're going to do the AuCAD method, you hit it with your primer, you hit it with a glossy black, and then you hit it with that particular metal color from AuCAD. But I even do this with my Tamiya spray metal colors, and it gives it a wonderful mirror-like, beautiful. It looks like real metal when you're done. But I'm going to have to do it to the two front steers. These ones are going to be gray, apparently gray, and one white one. So those are going to be little projects onto themselves. Also, what I want to show you real quick, if I can, over here on this side is I went ahead and I glued my fuel tank together. I usually break off the little tabs that come with the fuel tanks. I think all the fuel tanks and all the mirrors that our model makers make for us are horrible. I break off all those little tabs always, so I glue it together freehand where I get to choose and match both halves, and they're always crooked. Make sure these straps are matched, because if I use those tabs, these straps would not have matched. They were going to be crooked like always. Fill the seam in. When it's all done and sanded all that real good, then I come back. What I always do, and this may not be for you, but this is what let me get on the other side of the camera. What I always do is I don't like light, weightless fuel tanks hanging off of my frame like that. I usually get a piece of metal tubing, or in this case copper, perfect diameter, cut a little bit off the length. We epoxy that sucker right in there. Well, let's do it this way, like a mortar round. Just drops right in there, epoxy that sucker right in there. It gives a good weight, but more importantly, if you happen to squeeze this fuel tank a little too tight, you're not going to bust open your seams like usually happens, because the metal copper tubing gives it, behind the styrene, gives it that backing support now. So that's why I love doing that. Come back, cut a little bit off the length, put your hands on there, hit it with your AuCAD. In this case, to me, it doesn't have to be shiny factory new, because it's a beat up, weathered, worked hard dump truck in our particular case. All right, let's get back to the nitty gritty here. So let's talk round headlights. Let's lower the camera a little bit here. All right. Those of you who have been following, there's a hinge system thing I've been blowing my trumpet about for the last few episodes. I went ahead and I put that piece of filler styrene going across The top here is air duct. I close it off to make it look more prototypical like the one we're modeling. Um, using the, I don't think it was 5/8, I think it was actually 3/8 drill bit. I went ahead and drilled one side only. It came out great. Um, I thought afterwards that maybe the hole was too big and I started to panic. So I said, shoot, I ruined it. I hadn't done this side yet. I walked away from the project for about 3 days thinking I ruined it. I came back with confidence. I cut out some round, in case you guys, in case anybody falls victim to the same mistake, use one of these things. Find your size that you need to fill that hole there. Mark it off on a piece of styrene and cut it, sand it nice and smooth, and start slowly filing to get the perfect nice tight fit like what I did here. The idea was I was going to fill it in, putty, sand it, and relocate my holes using a different size drill. Thank God I didn't do that because I stumbled on a mistake that actually was not a mistake. It was actually spot on, dead correct for what I'm trying to achieve here. I'm going to take the cab off of the frame. It's attached right now. It might take me a minute or two. I may block your vision here. Forgive me while I do that, but I'm trying to show you guys this, how a mistake went to perfectly planned, or so it seemed, actual solution. So let me pop open this. Because again, I apologize if I'm blocking the camera. There's no other way for me to do this. But I want to show you guys, in case you guys are going to try and change the setup. Let's go the other way. On your headlights from let me pull that sucker right out. It's usually not this hard. Sorry, because I don't do this on camera. But of course, when you're going to do it on camera, all of a sudden it's not cooperating. Um, on this side. There we go. Without destroying everything. Woo-hoo. All right. And but this is important. I do want to cover this. Let's get some light on the subject here. Okay, so I went ahead. I put that plastic plug in the hole. I held it with my thumb from the inside like this, kind of like this. And I got Tamiya cement. I let it pour in there, run right, let the capillary action run all around and stuff, all that good stuff. I did it from the inside and the outside. I had it flush, smooth against the sheet metal there. The problem with these headlights, if you're going to do the single headlight and lower it, is you got this round edge here that's going to throw you off each and every time. The idea was going to glue half of this and over time slowly bend it, glue it, bend it over a whole day or weekend. So I got the round and everything, make it look like it did when it came from AMT. Thank God I didn't do that, because this is what I found out. By mistake, I pushed this in with my thumb. This piece went in and it gave me that ledge there. You see that ledge? It's about 1/8 of an inch thick. And over here on the outside, it gave me another ledge that's a step up. And you know what? When I was looking at close-up pictures of the headlights on the real Freightliners that have this setup, that's actually how they're set up. And I couldn't figure out how I was going to do it. And like a dummy, I stumbled upon it by pushing this plug through with my finger by accident, and I got my step inside exactly like the Freightliners have it, and the step on the outside edge, that step up. I was like, no way. So let me show you what I mean. If you're gonna do this setup, I do recommend you use the headlights from the AMT Ford C600 kit. They're perfect size. They're actually the way to go. The only thing I would do is I would sand them down so they're not that deep. You're gonna get rid of this part here, and then you're gonna sand them down a little bit so that they don't sit that high, just a little bit. And then what they're gonna do with this setup here that I stumbled on like a dummy, gravity is not your friend when you do this. It's perfect. Let me do it like this. Perfect. They stick out a little high, and that's the reason you want to sand down the thickness. And then you even got that side step up, and then the headlight. If you look at the real pictures of the real deal, this is exactly what you're gonna see. I can't believe my dumb luck that I stumbled upon that. So I'm thinking, woohoo, all right, I scored. I'll do the other side the next day. Sure enough, I managed to mess that one up too, but it was not my fault. You're drilling, and when you're drilling, in this case, I used the drill press real lightly. This part here, this curved part's always going to throw you off, and in this case, the cab kind of like it's not connected to anything, so it has a lot of bend to it. In this case, it bent down, and it elongated my hole from the 2 o'clock position to about the 6 o'clock position. So I go, oh man, now I saved this one, but I freaking ruined this one. Stepped away from it for a day, came back with the solution. I went ahead and put a piece of real thin styrene in there to correct that elongated, from 2 to 6 o'clock where it stuck out. Now it's back to circular. I'll cut this to make it flush. I'll sand it. I'll putty where I have to. We'll get it. You won't even be able to tell there was ever a mistake there. But look at that. You're going to have that step up on the edge and that step down inside for your headlight to sit in there. And remember, you're going to sand it so it doesn't sit too high. So you're going to sand that headlight down, and you're going to take this thing off also. These are the headlights to use. If you find your own setup, cool. But if you're going to use the AMT Ford C600 kit headlights, definitely want to go this route. I've already experimented and paid the price for it before I attempted this, and I settled it. I studied it from all sorts of angles, and this is the correct light you want to use for that particular setup. So this will be corrected. And then we'll show you how it comes out. But just for shits and giggles, like somebody, like my ex used to say, let's just do this for shits and giggles. This is kind of sanded down, ready to go. Let's try that just for fun. Since we got you guys here on the camera. So we sanded it down. It looks weird. It looks scarred. Let's go ahead and hit it with some Tamiya primer so you can see how it's going to stand out. Don't forget to check out, Google those headlights. Check out particularly that side thing there in the inside. You're going to see that it's just like that. And I just stumbled on it by accident. See, it's coming alive. But what do we always say? I'm that cool teacher. I'm not that boring teacher that's going to be reading from the book all period long, all year long. That's how you spent your 11th grade, just reading a book. I'm that cool, exciting science teacher that does experiments. I'm the guy who taught Bill Nye all his fun acting science stuff. And sure as, sure as shit, I'm right. This is drying. Let me let it dry for a second or two off the camera. I'm going to show you guys. You guys can see what I'm blabbing about. See, yeah, when it's scarred, it looks disgusting, looks nasty, but look at that. I couldn't have figured that out had I tried, and I was trying. That was just dumb luck. Let me show you real quick another experiment. This is just for you guys. If you want to know what I'm talking about, dump truck, we're going to have to drop you here. Okay. I hope this helps to visualize what I'm trying to show you guys. Okay. That's the hole in the Freightliner sheet metal. I messed it up, or so I thought. I went ahead and cut a piece of styrene. Raise the camera up, guys. I cut a piece of styrene, a plug, so to speak, so it would fit in there nice and tight, and I did. When I started hitting it with Tamiya and I was holding it pressure with my thumb, let's pretend we're looking towards the passenger side, the driver's side here, the bumper's over here, and this is the edge that curves. I pressed it with my thumb because the glue made everything, all the plastic, melt and slippery. This is what it did. Instead of sitting flush like that, I had my thumb on it. I pushed it in by mistake, raising the back part up like this. I got a bigger step there. Obviously, this is not thick enough. But to visualize what I'm talking about, that's what I got. And that is exactly what's on the real prototype Freightliners in terms of single headlight setup. And if that makes any sense, I hope it helps you if you're going to go that route. You want to take the little extra couple steps to get here. And it was just fantastic. I may have to fill some spots with putty and stuff. That's fine. But pretty much we're done. Thank you for joining me. Long-winded explanation, I know. But I'm having a blast doing this. And I'm glad a lot of you guys are enjoying it as well. You guys take care. Thank you for the kind words, everybody, and the kind comments. You guys are amazing. And I'm watching as many of your guys' videos as I can. You guys take care, and we will be back here in a couple days with some more. Love you all.